We welcome Tiko Tsulufelo Modise as well as Tiani Samuel. Nginbiza ngamagama enwasepasini Mabunda. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Tiko, let me start with you. You joined Mamelodi Sundowns in 2011 and obviously moving from Orlando Pirates, and that was seen as a very brave move, moving to one of their biggest rivals, and there you actually won some decent silverware with Sundowns. Talk to us about that.
First of all, it wasn't an easy move from Orlando Pirates to Mamelodi Sundowns. It's a move also I didn't expect, but when it happened, I understood that at the time I was regarded as a player that hasn't won a trophy with the club. So I moved to Mamelodi Sundowns knowing that this is something that I have to do, and I was provided with so much confidence at the club. Even though first 2 seasons, I think we lost in finals, and then I started believing that actually I won't be able to win anything with the club. But when things started changing, when Coach Peter came through, the team started transforming into one of the dominant team in the country and started winning trophies. And I think that on its own, I think it's been embroidered in the DNA of the club to make sure that we succeed and we're trying to win every trophy that is in front of us. And I think that's always been the ambition of the club, and they continue like that even today.
Certainly, that is what we've seen to be the ambition of the club. And for you, Tiani, when you joined Mamelodi Sundowns, already very dominant in terms of the South African football scene and now trying to vie for that continental glory. Talk to us about the change moving from Leopards coming into Sundowns and that adjustment for you as a player.
Well, for me, it was like you say, it wasn't an easy move as well, because it can never be easy for you to come from a lower thought about team as a smaller team to a big team, and it becomes even more difficult when you enter the space and you see the people you actually look up to, the people who are actually your role models, and now you no longer need to see them as role models, but yet they are competitors. Try to find your way, and it was really easier when I saw that they were actually not as arrogant as people had portrayed them to be. So they welcome. It's funny how they welcome you to compete with them and help you to become a better player. And like Teko was saying, that he had this way of people saying that he can't win anything, and to be a part of the change that took place, the team that actually brought so much joy, not only to us as individuals, but to also show that together as a team we were able to achieve more than what people think. So it was really a great transition, coming from a team that got relegated to go and win the league. It can only be by God's grace.
Indeed. Now, we've also seen a lot of hype at this moment around women's football, and particularly because obviously Banyana have just won the WAFCON. But Diana, you've also been very involved in terms of the women's side of football at Mamelodi Sundowns. We saw you there at the handover. Just talk to us about your thoughts on the investment into women's football in this country. We've seen Sundowns as a team that invests not only in the men but also the women, which is why they're so dominant not only in South Africa but also on the continent.
Yes, very true. The investment really plays a big role. The influence that I think being able to interact with the girls, make sure that we encourage them as much as we can. Mamelodi Sundowns invested in women's football for a long space of time, and it really paid off. And as you can see now, even the league has now raised its bar. They've got a couple of stakeholders that are sponsoring, and we've got results now. So I think that the more we invest in women's football, the same way we do with men's football, I think we have something going. I don't know what else they need to do, because they've won everything that is on offer. So we really need to begin to celebrate them as much as we do with the men, and give them the platform and give them their flowers. I'll use this word because he always tells me this. So
give them their flowers.
I'll give them their flowers whilst they're still alive.
Indeed. And for you, Diko, your general thoughts just in terms of the investment into women's football. I mean, we've seen the women, they get onto the field of play, they perform, but when it comes back to the financial side of it, not quite par with the male counterparts.
I think it's been a conversation that has been there for decades now. I think women in football have always raised these questions as to why aren't they looked at the same way as men. And they also want to make a profession out of it, just as men do in the professional sport. And And for women, especially now, to be in the space that they're in, you're looking at the league as well, how organized it is, very competitive as well. And you look at also Mamelodi Sundowns ladies as well to go to Africa and actually won the Champions League. That tells you a lot about the talent that we have in the country. And I think that can only inspire the upcoming young women, to be able to, get into the sport. But my biggest concern is, when are we going to allow them to actually make a career out of this?
Yes.
And I think maybe that's a conversation that we need to have. And with all the victories that they've had, especially after winning the AFCON, you've seen also how well they've been received, the excitement that was in the country as well. And I think it's about time now that we recognize them equally, because I think that's always been the fight for them, to be recognized equally. Because you hear the stories of women in football, most of them, they have jobs on the side. They're using football as a side gig, and you want to see them actually having football as a career. And I think right now actually is the right time to have those conversations and see as to how many stakeholders can come in on board and be able to actually sponsor and invest in women's football, because I think that's important. We can't be speaking about Mamelodi Sundowns only investing in women's football. We need everybody to invest in women's football.
To come to the party.
The day that we see all the PSL teams having ladies teams, I think for me it will be a big plus. And we've seen now Royal AM as well just impacting that journey as well, to have women's football in the club, and I think that's the right step to go. Just hope that other PSL teams as well will
follow suit. Yeah. And one can only imagine what Banyana and these women's team could be able to do if they didn't have a 9-to-5 and still play, if they were just focusing on football like their male counterparts. But let's also talk about the importance of commercial sponsors as a football team. Those are very important, and we've seen with Mamelodi Sundowns and the technical sponsor that Sundowns has, and we see the two gentlemen also donning the new shirts for Mamelodi Sundowns for the upcoming 22-23 season. Talk to us about the importance of those partnerships, Diani.
I believe that the more stakeholders they participate in investing in the game, it gives us an opportunity to broaden our space and be able to acquire a greater talent and be able to unearth things that could actually be to the benefit of the country. So I think the more united we become, I've seen it when people are united, the nation really celebrates. Like now, how we were united with the ladies, and everybody celebrated. So I think the more people that come on board, it would give us a really push in the right direction to make sure that the football in our country is taken to a higher dimension, and we're able to celebrate as we are right now, regardless of which division or which department is in operation.
I actually like these jerseys for the new season. They're very, very nice. Talk to me, which one is home, which one is away?
I like to be away.
Oh, you're away. Okay, so the blue is the away jersey for the new season, and this is the home jersey. It's also very nice because it also sticks very to the classic Mamelodi Sundowns type of jersey we've seen over the years.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that the yellow's always been the dominant color for Mamelodi Sundowns, and whenever Sundowns have an opportunity to wear yellow, they'll wear yellow. And I think it resembles how Mamelodi Sundowns has been. If you remember as well, we're always regarded as the Brazilians as well. I think we embroidered that into a system, we embroidered that into our play, the way Mamelodi Sundowns play, with rhythm, style and flair. And I think it's always been part of our DNA as well, and it's easy to recognize with this color of the jersey.
Indeed, and as I wrap up with you, let's talk about this upcoming season. We know Mamelodi Sundowns has now signed Ronwen Williams. What can we look forward to in terms of expectations on the field of play and still chasing that continental glory?
Look, I think as a team that has always been an ambitious and very brave in that space, we're always looking to make sure that we add on the numbers, what on quality players to help us conquer Africa, because I think that's the biggest challenge that we have right now. Many people will be looking at last season and say Mamelodi Sundowns have achieved so much, but Mamelodi Sundowns feel like, we could have done more, could have done better. And with the inclusion of not just Rowan, I mean, there's Sipombula as well that have been included. There's other players as well that have been included. It just shows you the ambition of the club and how far Mamelodi Sundowns wants to go. And next season, it's no different. Mamelodi Sundowns wants to win everything that is on board, making sure that we conquer Africa. And I think maybe the biggest challenge that we're facing right now is this Champions League. We want to have the second star.
Mamelodi Sundowns looking for the second star. Thank you so much for your time this morning, gentlemen, and good luck for the season ahead.
Thank you very much.
That is, of course, Digo Tulufelo Modise as well as Diani Samuel Mabunda joining us right here.